What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for clicking. So it's mid-April 2025. There's a lot of uncertainty in the economy right now. The stock market had a great year in 2024. Now it's a lot different. Crypto is also down from its all-time highs. Consumer confidence has declined for the fourth consecutive month. The US GDP in Q1 is down compared to last year. And now we've got an additional layer of uncertainties with the tariffs on China. So how does all of this affect the watch market? Or are these related at all? If you're in the market to buy a watch, is it a good time to buy or should you wait? In this video, I'm going to dive down into all of these issues and hopefully give you some insight as to whether it's a good time or not to buy if you're in the market for a luxury watch. Let's break this down into two parts. Is the watch market and economy related? And if so, by how much? Meaning if the stock market drops by 10%, should you see a drop in 10% in the watch market, or would it be less? Well, intuitively, you would think that all of these are related, right? If the economy is up, if consumer confidence is high, a consumer might be more likely to drop 10 or 20 grand on a luxury watch. Some factors that might be considered are aesthetics, but also long-term value retention, right? Put yourself in those shoes. If you're in the heart of a recession, how likely would you be to buy a luxury watch? Probably not very likely. But here's the thing. The watch market seems to have a mind of its own. From 2017, the overall watch market has been trending up. Then it really spiked in 2020 after the pandemic. In a 24-month period from April 2020 to April 2024, the market jumped an unnaturally high 81%, which caused it to crash down over 25% over the next 8 months. These are percentages we just don't see in the stock market over such a short period of time. If we look at the 10-year Dow Jones, we could say that the watch market was similar up until the pandemic. Or we could simply say that investments simply just increase over time. Because really, that's the only correlation we can really show here. After the pandemic, the watch market basically is declining, despite 2024 being one of the best years on record for the economy. Now, let's see if the watch market might be more correlated to consumer confidence. If we look at a 12-month chart, we don't really get any information besides consumer confidence rose the middle of last year and started declining in January 2025. But what's interesting is when I pull back to a 3-year window, consumer confidence hit a 3-year low back in July of 2020. If we compare to the Dow, we dipped a little bit, but over the long term, nothing really significant. What's interesting is July 2020 is the beginning of the crash of the watch market after the pandemic. So what happened in July of 2022? Well, in 2022, some big things happened. Number one, inflation. There was a significant rise in inflation with prices for essentials like food and energy, the raised concerns of cost of living. Interest rates were a concern. The Federal Reserve was increasing interest rates to combat inflation, leading to fears of potential recession and higher borrowing costs. Supply chain issues were a concern. Ongoing supply chain disruptions continued to affect the availability of goods, leading to uncertainty and frustration among consumers. There were geopolitical tensions. The war in Ukraine and its impact on energy prices contributed to the economic uncertainty. And finally, in 2022, the pandemic after effects. So I think it's fair to say that the watch market is not really tied to the stock market, and if anything, loosely tied to consumer confidence. With that being the case, is it a good time to buy a watch? Well, the 3 of the 5 issues that I just talked about, according to ChatGPT, that were present in 22 are currently present now in 2025. If I had to guess, consumer confidence is going to continue to decline. Now, does that decline mean further declines to the watch market? Because the watch market has been declining since 2022, independent of any increases in stock market or increases in consumer confidence. I don't really know the answer to that, but being a watch trader for a couple years, I've had the opportunity to talk to a lot of people who have $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 disposable income. These people, as you might imagine, are business owners, they're entrepreneurs, or they work for someone and they're just very good at what they do and have a very high salary. And overall, what I find is that these people that have 10 or 20,000 disposable, they've got a lot more than that. If you go back to my video where I analyze the life of being a watch trader, you'll see that my average sale is around $12,500. I would say that overall, if you compare me to some of my other watch trader friends, I'm in the lower category. I don't really mess with APs. I don't really mess with precious metal Rolexes. I stay in the stainless steel or two-tone 12.5, 15,000, less than $20,000 category. And again, the people that can afford these types of watches, they can really afford to buy 5 of them, 10 of them if they had to. With that said, it leads me to an interesting train of thought. Luxury watches are nice to have. Nobody needs a luxury watch. It's just simply nice to have. I think Netflix is the same way. Nobody needs to watch Netflix. It's a relatively small percentage of my disposable income. If the economy sucks, if consumer confidence is down, will I still spend that $20 a month on Netflix? I pulled up the subscription trends on Netflix in the last 5 years. And what's interesting is that they also had a stagnation and decline 2021, 2022. It peaked out in 2020. Now, recent trends are showing that they're bigger than they've ever been. Ultimately, I think that people that want a luxury watch are going to buy a luxury watch, especially in the price point that I play in. Now, $50,000, $100,000, that might be a different story. But for what I do and playing with my personal money and not taking any loans out or any investments from investors, the sweet spot here as far as price point, again, I think I attract the people that if they want a Rolex, they're going to buy a Rolex. Just like people that want to watch Netflix, really independent of consumer confidence or the economy. If it's a small percentage of my total disposable income, I'm going to continue doing what I want to do. So with that said, going back to where I started, is it a good time to buy a watch? If you're in the market for a $50,000 watch, I might say that it's not the best time to buy. If you're in the market to buy a $10,000 stainless steel Rolex, you want your first one, I would say go ahead and buy it. That's just my opinion. We'll see how this video ages out. Thank you so much for watching. If you're interested in becoming a watch trader, I've got a watch trading mentorship. It's anywhere between a 4-week, 3-month, or 6-month program where basically I hold your hand. I show you everything that I've learned in the last couple years. I've looked at other courses where basically they teach you to lowball people. That's not the way I do it. I show you how to find the right market price, look for deals, look for things outside of price so 50,000 other people aren't fighting you for the same deal. We don't need a lot of money to start. We don't have to start with Rolexes. Again, if you've watched my previous videos, some of my biggest gains have been on $4,000 watches, so we can certainly start with Omegas. If you're interested, please drop me a comment down below or follow me on my Instagram, mywatchguy, one word. Again, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next video. I've been trading watches for a couple years and I've flipped over 250 watches in my spare time. If you want to do this as a side hustle, just spending a few hours a week and want hands-on support in getting started instead of just watching a bunch of videos, then send me a message down below or message me on my Instagram, mywatchguy, one word.